Welcome Ji. Let's start our Kotlin tutorial. Today I'm going to talk again same as a continue asynchronous flow, the kind of reactive stream programming offer in Kotlin. Today, as you know, till now, whatever we have learned, what are the flow, how you can create a flow, how we can use the different kind of operator, intermediate operator, terminal operator. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about the how internally flow works and how kind of a sequential or need some concurrency, then how do. Okay. The default nature of flow is they are omitting, they are sending a data as a sequencer. Okay. Uh, if you look the uh, thing, each individual collections of a flow is performed sequentially unless a special operator that operate on the multiple flow are used. If by default, let's give we have one flow and you have a like a filter, you have map and click, all these operations. But here is the source of data and from here just going to the consuming data. So these are done in sequentially. If first collector demand, this is your consumer, say I want to collect data. So here go and your flow as a source of data, just return one data. And after that, again collector say I need one more data. Okay, so again flow send one more data. Again collector say I need one more data, one more data. Again collector. In this way, this is the sequential call flow happen between the source and the flow and the collector as a consumer. So this is the default nature. Due to that, we are saying here flow are a sequencer. So, and you know, the collections work directly in the coroutine, and these activities is done inside a particular coroutine. So we are okay, and coroutine, you know, coroutine offer asynchronous programming. And this coroutine will work when the call terminal operator. Here our collect is your terminal operator. When we as a developer use the collect operator, then our processing start. Yes. Now as a developer, as a consumer want I need a data from source. Source is the flow. Okay. So in this case, there is a no new coroutines are launched by default. So here, whenever your program start from maybe your main coroutine, any coroutine, the same coroutines are used here also, and each emitted value is processed by all the intermediate operator from upstream to downstream, and is the delivered to the terminal operator after. So these are the theory, and let us write the code. If you look, let's run blocking, run blocking, and here is let's we have first one function simple. Let's keep that. We can just omit uh, some value. Just let's keep flow builder, and here just in a for loop. Let's they return one dot for some and just omitting one by one value. They are emit, and let's assume it will take some delay of uh, 1 second, 1 second delay. Okay, so let's now we are going to collect now simple. Now we have a flow. Now we are going to perform let's kind of map or filter whatever things. Let's see. I'm simply collecting value, and whatever value we collect, print receipt, receipt. So let's see this. Let's assume that this will also kind of do some delaying operator. Let the delay some like a delay of oh, let's keep 3 milliseconds. Okay. So if this is the like if you run it, they are sending. Let's here say sending value, sending dollar. So here your flow send data and your collector consume data. So if you run it, here sending one data, and then after sending they will waiting, then receiving one, and then this. In this way, what happened? As say here are first this collector say कि I need one data, okay, and then flow send one data, okay. Again collector say another data, flow return another data. Collector say another data, flow return another data. So in this way, both are run. Whatever the here coroutine is started, the same coroutine context they are executing, and they are a sequencer. First the control flow there, then go, then come, then go, then come, then go, then come, then go. This is the sequential call between flow sender and collect receiver is happening. This is the nature known as your flow or default nature is sequencer. And there is a whatever the here coroutines are created, same coroutines are used here. Okay, and if I want some kind of this here whatever the in case of let's talk about the what do you mean context. Context means that key let's see collections of flow always happen in the context of calling coroutine. So let's here say your main function and say simple function, and I want to collect. So this whatever the context here we have, whatever the context here we have, the same context, yeah, same you can say thread pool, yeah, threads are going to start in collecting and sending data. So in this example, there is a simple flow, and then following code run in the same context is verified by the author. So from where you are going to collecting data, the same coroutine contexts are forwarded, and the same coroutines are used to collecting value always. Okay, whatever the context here, and this property of flow known as a context preservation. They flow or maintain the context on which context they are running, the same context they preserve. And if we talk about uh, by default, whatever the code you written inside your flow, whatever I am written here inside a flow, uh, run in the context that is provided by your collector of the corresponding flow. Okay, so this code is run inside the context of this the simple dot collect, and simple are run by, let's see here, the main context. So this code is also run by in the main context. So please be here here for just kind of sequentially. Whenever this context is started, the same context is here passed to the emit, and same are used. The first request for data, and then we receive data, and then again request for data, then again receive for data. So this kind of sequential flow happen within the same context. Which context? The main, from where the collector of flow are started. Okay. So since we discussed the collect is simple at collect is called from main thread. Yes. So the body of simple flow is also executed by the main threads. This is preferred default, fast running and asynchronous code that does not care about the execution context and does not block the caller. So this is the default nature of your flow. But sometime our need, I want our producer flow run in the separate context and our collector run in the separate context. So Kotlin also taken care. So let's example if any long running any CPU consuming code might need to execute it in the context of default, and maybe UI updating code might we need the context of main threads. So if any, so we have a create different context, one for your default, one for main, one for UI, and different context they want sometimes needed. So usually we have a you have an option with context. So with context is used to change the context in the code using the Kotlin coroutine. So whenever you want to change the context, generally we have Kotlin standard library offer us to use this context. But the code inside the flow builder is no honor context preservation property and not allow emit from different contexts. Okay, so for that flow also offer some way how you can execute our uh, code, whatever inside the flow is there in the different context. So for that, they have a offer one operator that is the, you can say, flow on. So whatever flow you have, let's give we have a one flow this, okay, one flow this, and this is the on flow. Here you can pass the context. Okay, so Kotlin standard library offer a different way. So you can say flow on is a function that shall be used to change the context of a flow emission. The data they are sending, this execution code can change in the different context. So let us look what how we can use. So here, if you, here we have options. Okay, just I can write another method that would be good. Just write simple function. simple function uh, that lets me return anything that can create folder simple. Let's see, on protest. Here, let's see similarly kind of code we have for loop. I that's 4 and we are emitting value I. So, and here uh, let's log some mess that emitting dollar I. Let's get this will going to some weight like dot c. 1 second. So here in this way, if you just you run from simple flow that collect and connect to whatever value you are receiving. Let's print the collected your value, and if you run it. So they are emitting one, collected one, emitting two, collected two. Okay. So here you both are running in the same context. You want to change, just here go to down and say on flow on flow on, and here we have a dispatcher have some different default mean IO confined, which we have discussed in our one up session about the context. So let's run define and cannot. So in this way, this is the running in the different context. Okay. Uh, so here, uh, what happened? Okay. So sorry. So here we say these are the what happening. Okay, not an issue. So what happened? So here we have option the right way to change the context. So here we have option we could change the context, and this help us to run your sender in different context and your consumer in the different context. This is run in the different context, and this is run in the different context. They are running in the main context, and this is running in the default. So flow works as a background thread while collecting happen in main threads. So main thread and flow is a different threads. So flow, can I say uh, another things to observe in the flow operator chain. Operator has changed the default sequential nature of the flow. Now collection happen in one coroutine and emission in another coroutines. So the same, if you want data collection happen in a coroutine 1 and data sender in coroutine 2. So if you like this, so we have to use the flow on operator. And whatever your coroutine dispatcher you pass, the same context your work. So there are the way you can manually use the with context, or you can just flow on and you can just offer which context you want to run this code. If sometime manually we are offering context, sometime Kotlin have a rich library. You say. So Kotlin also offer you can do the same thing in the simplest way. Instead of manually, you are going to say कि this code should be run in the different coroutine. Like in this our code, we are saying this flow is run the different coroutine and this code should run in different coroutines. So we are using the flow on and pass the dispatcher. So this is the one way. But Kotlin also offers the different way you can do. So that is the this way. They are concept known as a buffering. 1 minute. 1 minute. What is happening? Okay, this is another going out on. Okay, so okay, so this is the another way you can achieve like buffering. So let's scenario. Running different part of a flow and a different coroutine can help us from the standpoint where overall time it takes to the collecting flow. Uh, let's assume we are running a sequentially, then what happened, and when we are going to run in the different coroutine, then what happened. When long-running asynchronous operations are involved, so in this case example, let's give you one flow that's omitting data. But maybe this data will come from any web service call or from a database remote, maybe remote server. That will take some time, let's assume. So here they are dealing, let's dealing 1 second, and they are data. So this is your data producer. And might be case we have data consumer. Data consumer can assume it's also dealing. Let's see after getting this value, they are doing some processing on that. And that is the CPU intensive computation. That will some take time. Okay. So in this example, let us write the code first. Just comment it out. See, sample e sequencer. By default nature is sequencer flow. Okay, and let's key we are just returning some value for three value less than this emitting emitting value and getting some delay of let's key 1 second. Okay, so your whatever sequentially code, let's key your omitting function sending data take 1 second to send one data. And let's see your now we have a consumer dot collect and let's collecting the value and here this while doing some processing it will let's take a 3 second time and after that they are just going to print the value just process value process value $e. Okay, and let's key this with the sending. sending value dollars your I. So let's key assume the calculate the time. Okay. So for calling offer you can measure time. Let's see while times to uh, measures times in let's millisecond. Okay. So whatever you could write inside your block. Because he will measure how much your time will take. And let's key here say final and say uh, total consumed total time dollars or dollar times and decimal second. So default nature is sequential and that's the test. Whatever. Okay, sorry. Now it started. So it will take sending one data and just waiting, and after that he receive and wait something and process the one, and then second, then let's take how much total time will take. So it will sending a four value. Okay. Oh, I think why four? Okay, we have to note this first. Okay, sorry, and then we have to test again. They will take three, and this is one. 3 second, 1 second in processing time. First send and wait. Here we they are one wait 1 second, and while processing wait 3 second. So here 4 second. Similarly, this is similarly. Total take our 12 millisecond time. So this is the nature of your sequencer. Okay. So here, whenever they say ki, just here say, ki I'm going to start collection. So he, here wait 3 second, okay, and here wait 1 second, 1 second. So total one call request and the response go take a 4 second. Similarly for another, this is for one. Similarly for two. Similarly for three. Goes on, goes in, goes on. Here 4 second, almost here 4 second, and total processing almost at 12 seconds. So this is the nature of due to the sequencer. So if you change, I want not sequential, but I want to use the different coroutine, different context. Not the, why happen this? Because the same coroutine, whatever these are using the same coroutines are calling this function and they are same function. So within the same context, same coroutine, it will be a sequential. Who call start, goes here, goes here, goes here, it will take a time. So we have options. We can run this in a separate coroutine, this in a separate coroutine. So let's for that the same function but using the different operator like I'm say use the buffer. Show buffer. I here just commented code. Let's see here I'm going to use your buffer. Now now what happened? Kotlin, see, I am running in a different context. You run in a different context. Let's run. Let's start and then take the differences between the time. First, we'll wait. Surely your 3 second. After that, 1 second, 4 second. After they are going to buffer the data, not waiting to someone in know. Now we are getting almost but same but we are not using here buffer say. So here we have option function buffer. Whenever you say buffer, that means key this are not this symbol request key, these should run in the different context, and I am running the different coroutine. Now take the differences, and now the flow execution from sequential to chain non-sequential. That's difference output. They are sending data one, sending data two, and they are receiving one, two, three. We are getting almost the 10 second. Why happen? Here happen in this way. Sorry. Okay, good. So this is the your let's key your data producer, data producing. So whenever collector say ki, I want to collect the value, okay, and they are send one value to, and they are not going to wait. Again, they are going to producing another value. They are going to producing another value. They are going to producing another value. Whenever this is the after 3 seconds, they are going to again this value is already computed, just flatly written. They are not going to again this wait of your 1 millisecond. This value is already computed, so they are going to buffer the value. Okay, so whenever you are say uh, buffered here, that means the data sender is not waiting for the collect to ask data. But first time, whenever they are requesting, I need the data. They are going to the processing, take 1 millisecond time and send the data to you. Okay, and after that, they are again going to proceed the next data. They are again going to produce the next data. While they are going to here come and here still processing take a 3 milliseconds and minutes 3 second time, and now they are waiting here. Till now, in each 1 second they are producing different data. And after 3 seconds, again consumer say I need another data. Another data. So this data already emitted, calculated. This is flatly written. So now this is running in the different coroutine. They are not waiting for this coroutine. So due to this coroutine, here our communication between collect and your flow are happen not synchronously but asynchronously. First time this is start, go to the here, and they after produce one data response here. After that, he is not waiting. He again going to he have a different context. Now they have started going to write producing another data. So if you look the output here, they are sending one data, and after that they are again going to produce second data and third data. And whenever he receive after 3 seconds, the response give me the first value calculator give me second 3 second, second 3 second. So this is 3 3 3 second waiting of this 9 and 1 second on the first request of this. So due to that, it will take almost 10 seconds time. So this is the kind of a simplest function, buffered. When you want your flow is asynchronous, and that means this is run in different coroutine, this is run different coroutine. Just use the buffer, and now your same code, each and everything run asynchronously. Okay, so same example here. Say okay, same here. Say they are omitting 100 millisecond and that 300 millisecond, and it will take 12 millisecond times. And just I explain you, we have a buffer operator on the flow. Whenever we have this is the one flow, you can just say buffer here. Okay, and to run the emitting code concurrently, the collecting data. And this is the way. Just they are say कि whenever you say I am going to collect data, I am going to collect data, and this is your source of data. Okay, they send one. Okay, and after that they are producing another one, producing another one. Whenever this will wait 3 seconds, and after calculator they demand next one. So here they are not going to wait. Already calculated value, this is the return. After 300 milliseconds, again say calculated value, just return it. So due to the different context and different context, here I am talking about the coroutines. So it's produce the same result just faster. Okay, this produce the same result just faster, and we have efficiently created processing pipeline. Okay, and having to wait up 100 millisecond for the first request, and then suspending 300 millisecond or consumer and process the element. So this is the very simplest way to send a message to our producer. Don't you just run in a different context. Don't wait until I'm demanding. Just calculating the value. Whenever my processing will done, I'll ask you, hey, give me the data. I'll ask you, give me data. If you're not using the buffer, that means okay, I'm asking data, then you calculating data and giving me data. Again, I'm asking you, then again you calculating data and then giving me. So this will happen in the same context, while it will waiting here 100 millisecond, 100 millisecond. But you say, no, buffer it. First time I'm requesting you, just you calculating and give me. And whenever I'm waiting here, you done your jobs. They haven't done your job. Whenever next time I'm requesting you, already process data available, that's just send it. So this is the way inbuilt, you can say, your so flow on operator use the same buffering mechanism when you are passing some dispatcher. So this is the one say yeah, you can just change the context using your flow on method, or simplest way, or you can simply use the buffer. The same concept of buffering is used by your context uh, switch as well as. So if you go to here and you are trying to say this is your buffer, this is your buffer, here you are using buffering, or you simply say like here, say async, async, and here you say just like flow on, and here pass your dispatcher dot default, and just if you used this dot, and here say okay, I'm going to this function and I'm going to here this function. Just I'm not going to use buffer. I am using the flow on. The same behavior you are getting the same output here also. So you are using the buffer or your flow on. Let's run it. So internally flow on also use the same mechanism of buffering. Means they are just started the different coroutine here. And you are the sending it calculated, calculated, calculated. And now you are getting the same output. Same 10 millisecond time. So this is the different way you can say you can run your flow in asynchronous, not sequentially, in a different coroutine. Okay. So whenever we are talking about the buffering, or you can say, let's see your data producer here and your data consumer here. Whenever you have a request here, and they are started a different coroutines, and they are going to sending value 1, sending value 2, sending value 3. And whenever you are receive data, and after processing you are waiting somewhere to complete the processing, and after that you are demanding the new one. Okay, so generally they are going to give you the first this value, and you are getting those value again, you are getting those value here, and again you are waiting here some processing time. It will take 300 millisecond here, 300 millisecond here, 300 millisecond here, and now after you are again requesting a new data. At this time they have processed multiple value. Okay, they have sent multiple value. So reason the for processing sending one value only take 100 millisecond time. The this is your faster. Means your data producer are sending data within 100 millisecond, but your data consumer is consuming data within the 300 millisecond. So your consumer is slow and your producer is fast. In this scenario, we have to take decision. By default, consumer always going to take this value, then this value, then this value, then this value, all value. So sometime we take a decision or need our requirement. We really need this data, or at a time, whatever I'm requesting, give me the latest value. Okay. At this moment, whatever the value is calculated, give me this, not the old one. So such case, or we have a Kotlin offer some different functions. So let's when flow represent the partial results of an operations or status, it may not necessary to process each element. Might be we don't need all the value, but instead only most recent one you want. Then you can use your different operator known as a conflict. Conflict say at a times when the collector say I want to collect value, at that time what was the receipt value sent by the producer, those only value sent. This is only in the case of when your producer is producing data fast fast, as consumer is slow. In this scenario we have used the flat conflict. So let's check. We have let's check that conflict, and here we are not passing any dispatch. Simple. Okay, sending the data, and let's just commit it. Here we are, instead of buffering, you say I'm going to take conflict. So he say when client go to ask producer give me data. So what are the recent data produced by the producers are going to be consumed by the collector. Here your producer is fast. Within 1 second they are producing data. Your consumer is slow. They take a 3 second data to process. I want the recent one. Then you have to use the conflict operator. Okay. Let's take output. Producer producing data and consumer process first data, and after that the recent one already processed 3 data, they are getting a 3 one, they are not getting a 2. So okay, they are next time demand, first time they receive one value. Okay, sorry, that's here example. Your producer your flow sending flow sending a data, and your collector, you're collecting a data here. So whenever collector say collect, so after you waiting of 100 1 second, 1 second, waiting of 1 second, they send one data to here collector, and collector wait here 3 seconds, and during that time they have already started in different coroutine. In 1 second another they produce two, in 1 second another produce say three. Okay, as whenever after 3 seconds they demand we need another data, he say the latest one is a three, so they return a three value, so which we are getting a one and then three. They are We are not getting two. Why? We are saying we need a recent one. The recent one is a two, not send two, but this is the three. So here what happened? Your producer is sending data, but someone is not consuming. Here they are okay, but this is due to the your slow collector. You are saying ki, I need the recent one. They are send the recent one. This. So this is the kind of huge case where you can get, and similarly here you are getting one output, and your VC, while the first number will proceed in the second, and while third is already produced by the producer, the second is conflated and on the most recent third number, we are getting 30. So these as per use case, what you need all data, you just simply buffer. You need the recent one, or we have also Kotlin offer kind of a one standard method. Uh, like let's in this example, your flow producer is producing value. In our case, each 1 second they are producing value, and your collector is need 3 seconds to process your data. What you want. So this is one say conflation is one way to speed up the processing of both emitter and collector also. Okay, it does it mind be dropping the emit value. In this case, two or three, whatever the not, we are dropping those value. The other way to cancel the slow collector and restart the new every times. This is another way we can say. And the similarly way, there is a concept known as there is a family of whatever the function and the get latest operator perform the same sequential logic to the operator as well as. So here you can try to say there is a one function like collect latest. So collect latest say I need the latest one. Whatever the flow have emit the data, I have doesn't matter. What are the latest one? Just give me. So you can here instead of you can use the latest one. That latest. Here instead of using this, you say I'm going to use the collect latest. This one. So here your collector is slow, but they are always getting the latest value from here. So this is the way different mechanisms to maintain the uh, you can say back pressure between the producer and consumer. This is the words generally used in your reactive system. Whenever we are talking about the reactive, in this reactive case, a producer and the consumer. In our Kotlin, this is the flow and this is the collect. This is the flow and this is your collect. Okay, so producer sending data, then in this If this is sending is speed of data, so what consumer do? How consumer inform I can process only two requests or three requests or four requests. So this strategy are in reactive system known as a back pressure handling, and Kotlin offer very simplest way. You don't talk Kotlin never talk about the back pressure. They say what collector want, how collector want collecting data. They want one by one sequentially. The default nature of flow, get one request and then process request and then demand for the next one. Then process request and send here. Then process request, then come here. Then process, then next. So this is the default nature because both are run default in a same coroutine. But sometimes I say no, no, I want to run in this is the different context and this one is a different context. So in this case, producer your flow is emitting multiple value. So here collector have options. I want to if you want to only buffer, that means you are collecting all the emitted value. Or you say no, 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 I want to the recent one, recent used. You can use confluent. Or you can say give me latest one. Whatever the latest this data are some producing only those two. Give me. So communication between the producer and consumer also happening here. So this is the way, due to the nature of suspending function and coroutine concept, Kotlin very easily manage our back pressure between the data producer and data consumer. Here, flow of stream is going on. Flow of stream is going on, but they have a own control about the collector. How collector want? They are collecting all value, a recent one, or latest one. They have a different operator, and this way, Kotlin offer handling of back pressure. So in the Kotlin documentation, generally they are not talking about the back pressure because there is no consent. They have own control about the collection collector. So this is the kind of different you can see option you have as a developer. Whenever you want your this is the flow of stream, flow of stream. They are streaming data, but not streaming data until someone not going to the collect. If one collector come and say I want data here, then they are sending data, and you are receiving, then sending data, then receiving. If another collector comes say I want to read another data, they are again sending. So depend upon the what number of collector you have, and according they are getting a data. And sometime if you have a flow and the collector you want by default nature both run in your same coroutine. So sequentially happen. First send data, then they processed, and then request for next data, then they process, send new data, then they process, then new data. So this is the default nature. So you see, so the by definition, say flow are a sequencer, but that is the if we need both can run the different contexts, we can do. So your flow can be run in the separate context, and your collector can run in the main context. So here say whenever flow is ready for sending a data, but whenever one collector come and say I want to collect from this flow, so they are sending a data. So they are sending one data to you, and they are again continue to process next one, process next one, process next one, process next one. Whenever see I need next one, they are just sending to you. Next one, sending to you. So in this case, if sometime your producer is fast, your consumer is slow, in this case we have option. You want to all the value, or you want to recent one or latest one. So all the control Kotlin given to their collector, and they are running the different core routines. So these kind of a brief about the flow or sequential or how you can say flow run in the same coroutine or flow run data flow run in the different contexts and data collector run in the different contexts. In this way, you can get the better performance, fast response. I hope it will able to help you something about if you are going to launch or going to work on the reactive stream programming in the Kotlin. It will help you know how you can make flow in synchronous, flow execution in sequential, or flow execution in concurrent. Hope this helped you. And here again, I'm here. I would like to say thank you for watching this video.